Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Gemma and I am bringing you today my extremely belated 1k Q&A. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed and pushed me over the 1k line. That happened back in February, March? I don't know, a while ago. I think it was February because I think I was supposed to get this video out in March. It's now May. Apologies. There's been a lot of content around the Women's Prize going on, which has meant I just haven't really had time to sit down and film and edit this. Hopefully this will go up in May because I am filming this on the 3rd of May. So we'll see how long it takes me to get this edited. But you asked some questions. I'm going to answer them. We have a mixture of bookish questions, booktubey questions, and just downright random questions. Yes, Scott, I am looking at you. So I'm just going to run through them. I did write them down, but I haven't really thought about them, and I wrote them down quite a while ago. I've really forgotten what all of them are about. So we're gonna wing it. We're gonna wing it, guys. So first questions. I have 3 questions from my lovely friend Alice at Alice on the Giant Bookshelf. She has asked, out of all of the books you've DNF'd since starting your channel, which one was the actual worst of all, or which one would you actually put in the bin? And so the easy answer to this is Incendiary by Cleave. So I was actually buddy reading this in December with the lovely Heather from Reading with a Vengeance. I think I made it like 11 pages in or something, and I detested it. It was so bad. The author thought that you weren't able to retain basic information. So this was a mother writing letters to Osama bin Laden following the death of her husband and son in a terror attack, which sounds very dark, does sound like a very Gemma book. However, I don't need to be told that she's writing to Osama like 5 times a page. I'm not a moron. Cleave clearly is. So I just didn't like it. The writing style didn't work for me. It was supposed to be from a mother's perspective, but I didn't buy it from straight from the off. Heather had less issues with it than me and did finish it. So if you want to see someone who actually semi-enjoyed the book, I think she gave it like 3 stars. Then it's probably in her December wrap up. But yeah, no. Oh God, it was so bad. Yeah, no. Next, Alice asks, if you could only choose 5 books to keep from your current physical TBR, which ones would you save and why? That's a hard question. So if you're new, then I don't keep books that I've read generally. There are 2 exceptions on my shelf. One of them, and one that I would obviously have to save, is The Hobbit by JRR Tolkein. This is just like a piece of my childhood. My dad read this to me when I was a kid, and then I've read it a couple of times as an adult, and it's just like the best fantasy adventure story ever written. So I would have to save that one. The only other one on my shelf that I have read is his Dark Materials trilogy by Phillip Pullman. And I bought this beautiful bind up edition. And so I'm going to keep this. Technically it's 3 books, but it is just 1 book on my physical TBR. So I feel like I'm cheating because then I get 3 for the price of 1. What else? That's 2. I've already got 2. What other ones would I choose? I don't know. Okay, I have a load of books on my other bookshelves as well. So I'm just going to have to think about what comes instantly to mind. And I think I would keep If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. Bear in mind, I've read none of these books, but Baldwin is an author that I think I'm going to love, and I haven't gotten to him yet. And so I would definitely want to keep one of his books. So I would keep that one. And I have a feeling that would be really rereadable. So yeah. That's 3. Actually, I think I would also, the other one that I have read is Demon Copperhead. I've literally just filmed a review with this book, but I adored it, and I think I could read Demon's story again and again. So that's 4. And then downstairs, and I'm not going to go down and get it, but downstairs I've got Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, which is actually another one that I have read. But I love that book, like toxic relationships. Yes. So yeah, those are my 5. So what did I pick? The Hobbit, His Dark Materials, Demon Copperhead, If Beale Street Could Talk, and Wuthering Heights. Have I made the right choices? I don't know. 5's really hard. Let's be honest, it's never going to happen. So that's what we're going to go with. Next question from Alice. Would you rather have to read a romance or contemporary every other book, but you can read good stuff in between, or never have to read those genres again, but you can also never read another fantasy? Okay, so background, if you're unaware, I detest romance. Like, full on detest it. Particularly cheesy contemporary romance, which is basically what Alice is saying here. But there's absolutely no way I could give up fantasy, not a chance. So I would have to read a romance every other book. But I would just probably make sure that the books between the romance were like really massive. So it felt like it wasn't that bad, you know? That's what we're going to say. Okay, next question is from the lovely Bandy's Books, and she has asked, what has been the hardest part of your YouTube journey up to this point? I think just organisation. I do love a spreadsheet, so I have a content planner spreadsheet, which actually has content ideas going up to January next year. I move stuff about, but I never want to be in the position where I'm like, shit, I need to film a video and I don't know what to film. So every time I have an idea, it goes on the spreadsheet, and then I just move stuff around and film what I want to film from my massive list of stuff. But finding said time to film and edit and upload and do description boxes has been the biggest challenge, because it does take up quite a lot of time. I'm sat here now at 8:45, absolutely knackered. And I just want to curl up in bed with my book, but instead I'm sitting here filming because I actually put some makeup on today. And so if I film now, I don't have to put makeup on tomorrow. Yeah. Next question. So Soph Cart asked, was your channel always going to be book content, or did you consider lifestyle or other hobbies too? Nah, it was always going to be books. It was always going to be books. I don't really have a life because because I have 2 kids and a full-time job, and and a dog. So I can just about squeeze in a bit of reading, but I don't. I try and run, but let's be honest, it's patchy at best. But no, and trust me, you wouldn't want to see my lifestyle. No one wants to just see me cooking my lazy mum meals and eating cookies on the sofa, do they? Next question. Jennifer Loves Books. Oh, we love Jen. Has asked, if you could read one book again for the first time, what would it be? The Hobbit. The Hobbit. I feel like that's always going to be my answer to that. Actually, no, because I think that's got nostalgia. So I probably wouldn't want to read that for the first time as an adult. Maybe Lonesome Dove, which I read for the first time last year, and just, it was just such an epic adventure. Yeah, I think Lonesome Dove, I would, if I could read that for the first time every year, that would be excellent. And she also asked, which 3 authors, dead or alive, would you invite to a dinner party? Well, got to invite Babs, right? Got to invite Babs. So Barbara Kingsolver for sure. JRR Tolkein, definitely. And then maybe Becky Chambers. I think probably they're my 3 favourite authors at the moment. So yeah, I think we'd have a delightful time. Can you imagine, like, Tolkien and Becky Chambers, like, just chewing the fat? That'd be amazing. Then my lovely friend Emily at Novel Novels asked, what authors would you kiss, marry, or kill? So do I just pick one for each? I don't know. I don't know what a lot of authors look like. So I think I would marry Kai Miller. I read his non-fiction last year, and he has this amazing Jamaican accent. And can you just imagine, like, just that in your home every day? He just sounds like such a nice man. Yeah, I'd marry Kai Miller. Kill, well, she's already dead, but Virginia Andrews. I mean, mate, Flowers in the Attic. No. That was awful. That was an awful book. And actually, I'm now regretting my choice for Alice's question of one book to throw in the bin, because that also should have gone in the bin. But Virginia Andrews wrote like loads of these. She's dead and she's still writing them. She needs to like properly die. And kiss, I don't know. I don't really know what authors look like. Who's a hot author? Actually, is Pierce Brown quite fit? I think Pierce Brown is quite good looking. I'll put something here, so if I'm wrong, then I'm going to look like an idiot. But I'm pretty sure Pierce Brown is quite good looking, who wrote the Red Rising books. So maybe I'd kiss him. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this question. Emily also asked, what genre would you not touch with a barge pole? So there's actually no genres that I wouldn't touch with a barge pole, but smut. I did read Alien Smut last year. It was an experience. But yeah, probably smut is something that I would never pick up. I only picked it up because it was Garb August. So yeah. I just don't need to know about people's nipples. I just really don't. Right, okay. She has also asked me, what book would you make everyone read? I feel like I just give the same answers over and over again. What book would I make everyone read? I don't know. It's got to be like either Demon Copperhead or Lonesome Dove. I've said both those answers already, but that's what you're getting, because they are the ones that I want everyone to read. The last question from Emily is, if you were on death row, what would your last meal be? It's got to be big fat steak, medium rare, chips, peppercorn sauce, big flat mushrooms. MJ over at Reading This Life has asked, what is the best piece of advice you have learned since being on BookTube? I think the best piece of advice is just to be yourself, right? Everyone says it when you look up how to be a booktuber, because it does come across, if you are not a reader or you're reading things that you don't care about, it comes across really easy. So you just have to be yourself, and I am unapologetically myself on this channel. If you've seen some of my salty reviews, particularly of books that other people like Piranesi, rubbish, then yeah, just be yourself is the best piece of advice, I think. Then Nadeem Khan asked, which is the best book you've read in 2023? You can only name one. Demon Copperhead. What character did you like in the movie but not in the book? Good question. I liked in the movie but not in the book. Can I say Christian Grey? I don't know. In the book, he came across as a narcissistic asshole, but is it Jamie Dolan? Is that his name? Jamie Dolan? I don't know, but he's hot. So, mate, he can be a narcissist any day. What book did you read that made you cry? Well, the last book I read that made me cry, like sob cry, was Goodnight, Mr. Tom by Michelle Magorian, and story time. I have told this story a few times, so apologies if you've already heard it. But yeah, I was towards the end of this book, and I'd watched the series ages ago, so I knew like the big sad thing that happened, but I don't remember the sad thing at the end happening. So I took this book, it's on my phone, on my Kindle, I was reading it whilst at Charlie, my youngest son's swimming lesson. And I was like in a row of parents all like there with their kids. And I was crying at Goodnught, Mr. Tom. The lovely Amy at BookTube with Amy has asked, what's been the worst book you've read for BookTube? And she said, I hope it's not Aurora. So Amy and Ange are running a read along of the Aurora Tea Garden Mysteries this year, and I joined in for the first one and detested it. So I think that is what she is referring to. But luckily for you, Amy, BookTube prize was worse. So yeah, the novels by Elif Batuman, The Idiot and Either Or, which just followed pretentious Harvard wankers for what felt like a trillion pages, were the worst ones I've ever read for BookTube. They were awful, and I had to finish them because because they were for the BookTube prize. So yeah, that was pretty bad. And she also said, have you got any advice for others growing their channel? So my advice, if you're growing your channel, and this is not if you, so everyone has their own like way of doing BookTube, and if you are just happy putting out the content that you like to make and that makes you happy, that's fine. But what I've found has actually helped grow my channel is stuff that is hashtag on trend. So stuff like the Women's Prize, the Booker Prize, that content always does really well. Victober, TBR, Nonfiction November TBR, those things tend to do well and get pushed out more by the algorithm. So they have helped me grow. And just connecting with other booktubers and collaborating with other booktubers. The more people who know your name, the better, right? So yeah, that's what I would say. Then we have the lovely Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl, and she has asked, what do you know now that you wish you'd known as a new booktuber? How to edit. How to edit. I go back and I look at some of my first videos, and I edited a little bit, but not much. Now, like every time that I go, and so I edit all that out now. And there is a lot of it. So, and I've also just sort of learned to, if I mess up a sentence, I'll just stop and go back and re-say it instead of like trying to edit in the middle of a sentence, because that is not a fun task. So yeah, how to edit. I mean, I'm still learning, don't get me wrong. I'm not some sort of editing aficionado. Is that the word? I'm not one of those, but you know, I'm better than I was. She has also asked, what book have you recommended the most? Probably Lonesome Dove. Probably Lonesome Dove. Larry McMurtry. Oh, her next question is, how do you juggle it all? Great mum, smart science person, Rudy, reader and booktuber. With great difficulty, mate. With great difficulty. I just wing my life. I wing it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Audiobooks help a lot because for my job, I quite often am in the car, so I can get through a fair chunk on audio while I'm whizzing around the country. But yeah, it's hard, but it's like booktube is my one thing for me, you know. So it's not like I'm going out down the pub every night, or like it's not like I have a life basically. So this is something I can do at home while the kids are in bed. Can't really go clubbing while they're in bed. I'm too old for that anyway. It's too loud. And her final question is, what is your favourite pizza topping? And is it thin crust or deep dish? So this is funny because this is the question we've been asking all of the guests on the Women's Prize Plod Along. So if you haven't been following that, it's like a whole debate. There's like outrage about pineapple and figs and artichokes. Anyway, I don't want none of that muck on my pizza. I just want meat and probably chilies and maybe some anchovies. Yeah, and mushrooms. Lots of mushrooms. I really love mushrooms. So like pepperoni, mushroom, chili, and anchovies would be delightful. Yeah, we'll go for that. And thin crust, definitely thin crust. Every time thin crust, because and this is why I don't mind the thick crust when it's hot and you can dunk it in like the sauce. You know, like the little garlic and herb one that you get from Domino's. But half of the joy of pizza is eating it cold the next day, and cold thick crusts. No. Next questions. Oh, next ones are from Scott at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. So, first question. If you woke up one day and your hands have been turned into feet and your feet have been turned into hands, how would you walk? With great difficulty, Scott, is how I would walk. In fact, I probably wouldn't even bother trying. I'd just lay in bed, make one of the kids give me ice cream. How would I eat my ice cream? This is like a drama. How would I read? I'd have to read with my feet. Or, oh, I don't know. That question hurts my brain. Next question. Those mornings when you wake up and your subscriber count has dropped, how do you wish those people who unsubscribed were punished in the afterlife? So I did have a think about this one after I wrote it down, and I came up with the perfect way for unsubscribers to be punished in the afterlife. Toe stubbing. I hope that in the afterlife they just walk around and perpetually stub their toes on like chairs and door frames and things. Actually, and maybe like scatter some Lego around for them to stand on as well. I think that would be a good punishment. Would you prefer to read a book covered in custard or gravy? I feel like Scott was having a particularly immature moment when he wrote that question. But the obvious answer, there's only one answer to this, and that is gravy, because custard is the most disgusting concept in the world, especially when it gets that disgusting skin on it. Oh, no. No. Gravy, please. Gravy. Gravy books. And what video took you the longest, and which video are you the most proud of? I don't really know. Probably the videos that have taken me the longest were my videos where I compared two classic authors. So I did Eliot and George Eliot and Mary Elizabeth Braddon, and I also did Thomas Hardy and Jane Austen. I'll link them down below. They took quite a lot of time because I did like a whole scoring thing. And then also my guide to reading Homer, that I did quite a lot of research and stuff around before I filmed it. So probably those three are the ones that have taken me the longest. Which one am I most proud of? Probably my 5 booktube secrets. Which now would probably, it should have been a short really, because it's quite short. It's that kind of like jokey video. But I did like move the camera around and like film from different angles and stuff. So yeah. But shorts were like only just a thing when I did that. So I didn't even think about doing it as a short, which I probably should have done. Anyway, tangent. Mini Book Chats has asked, any advice for new or would-be booktubers? Just do it. Just do it. Like, it's a given that your first videos are going to be crap. It's just the way it is. But the sooner you start, the sooner you'll improve. So just do it. Just do it. Just rip that bandage off and go for it, because actually once you get into it, it's quite fun. Oh, and one other tip: when you're filming, look at the look at the camera, not on the viewfinder, because it's really annoying when like you're watching a booktuber and they're like looking over there because that's where their viewfinder is. My viewfinder isn't there. I'm exaggerating the point. My viewfinder, that's my viewfinder. Me not looking at the camera. That is me looking at the camera. Can you see the difference? Not looking at the camera. Not looking at the camera. Okay. Anyway, I feel like I've exhausted that point. Right, Jim. Jim at Books, Reading and Stuff. Oh, we love Jim. My favourite Georgian booktuber from the country Georgia, not the state. Has BookTube encouraged you to read outside of your comfort zone? Yes. So I read Alien Smart. That's defo outside of my comfort zone. But yeah, no, it pushes me out of my comfort zone all the time because all it takes is for a booktuber that I trust to recommend a book that I wouldn't normally have picked up, and then that's it. It's on the TBR. Next question from Rachel at Rachel's Reading Nook. And she has asked, do you have a book or author that grew on you after finishing reading it or them? Oh, a book that grew on me after I'd finished it. That's a hard one, right? I actually think, and this is what I did really enjoy when I read it, but it has just stuck with me, and that's Naughts and Crosses by Malorie Blackman. I read that in January. Really liked it, gave it 4.5 stars. I think in reality it's a 5-star book. It's really, really stuck with me. The characters are really, really vivid. It's just outstanding, an outstanding novel. So yeah, maybe that one. Then Kristen from Enter the Book has asked, can we have a Rudy trick? I'm going to have to try and film that later because he's asleep. Rudy's not very good at tricks, just FYI. So that might not go well. Right, we're going to try to do a Rudy trick. We're going to try to do a Rudy trick. Ready? Rudy touch. Rudy touch. Sit. Down. Good work. She's also asked which book that you haven't DNF'd is the one you have been reading the longest. So at the time that Kristen wrote that, we were buddy reading Elantris, and I had taken about 6 weeks longer to finish it than she did. I have now finished that book, but the current one that is holding that title is The Three Musketeers, which I started on the 1st of February, and I am now 50% of the way through. Yeah. She has said, describe your perfect bookish day. So hot country, maybe like a Greek island. No kids. Kids are at home with some sort of suitable adult. I'm on my own, no husband, no kids, no dog, nothing, just on my own on a Greek island. Hot day, but I need the umbrella because I don't like to be in the direct sunlight. My husband thinks I'm a princess. And mojito, large mojito with ice and a straw, because otherwise like the mint gets everywhere. And just on my own all day with maybe quite a yummy waiter just topping up my mojito as we go through the day. That would be my perfect bookish day. Kristen's next question is, what did you study at school? So at university, I studied forensic biology. Yep, I was that geek. And everyone's like, oh, that sounds really interesting. It's not. It's just not. No. Do you know how long it takes to like dust fingerprints? And then do you know how much paperwork is involved after said dusting? So yeah, that's what I studied. I don't really do anything to do that anymore. Well, I suppose I have a sort of biological job. I work in agriculture, but yeah, I definitely don't do the forensics bit. That was really dull. And she also asked, do you ever read any books that deal with that subject? Oh, so that deal with biology. Generally not so much. I did read Immune by Phillip Detmer in January as part of the tandem read along, which was probably the first book since I finished university that's dealt with like a hardcore biology subject. But no, not really. No, I'm scarred for life. And then finally, final questions from the lovely Sarah at Your True Shelf. She has asked, how many children do you have and how old are they? So I have 3 children. I have a stepdaughter and she is nearly 18. Makes me feel so old. Makes me feel so old. She drives now. It's like a whole thing. She's like a proper adult. She has a boyfriend. It's just, yeah. I feel traumatized just talking about it. And then I have 2 boys. My eldest is 10, Sam, and my youngest, Charlie, is 3. He's nearly 4. So yeah, we've got big age gaps. So nearly 18, 10, and nearly 4. So yeah. Sarah also asked, what do you do for work? Oh, that's just a really boring answer. So I work in agriculture, but basically I am the head of marketing for an agricultural inputs company. So I sell stuff, not even to farmers. I sell it to people who sell to farmers. And I don't sell it anymore because I don't work in the commercial team anymore. I'm a marketer, so I vicariously sell it through mind manipulation. No, it's very strategic, darling. It's very strategic. If you had to read only one genre forever, what would it be? Fantasy. It's got to be fantasy. Because fantasy can deal with all sorts of things, can't it? It can deal with like current issues, and it can be like urban fantasy set in like a contemporary setting, or historical fantasy, or like just flat out high fantasy. Yeah, it's going to be fantasy. It's going to be fantasy. And that is all of the questions. So thank you to everybody who submitted a question. I hope that hasn't been too dull. If there is anything else you want to ask me, comments. There's comments. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, then hit the subscribe button. I will leave my entire physical TBR video from last year here in case you want to see what else is on my bookshelves other than the 5 that I picked to stay from Alison's question. And I will see you very soon with another one. Bye guys.